Hey, today we are talking about meetings, because those are fun, I guess. Hate the intro. I'll be back. Hey everybody, move my mic a little bit. We are talking about webcam meetings today. If you work from home, I can guarantee you've already had a few. And I'm hoping by the end of this video, I can give you a couple tools to help improve how well you can communicate through these meetings and hopefully improve your experience in them and make them less terrible. I think almost all of us don't like webcam meetings. No matter how good you can get with them, I would almost always prefer to be in person. But that's not the world we live in, and if you like everything else about working from home remotely, like this is just part of it. You know, I enjoy 99% of working from home, and part of it's just gonna have to mean that I suffer through online meetings instead of in-person ones. This will be a kind of two-part video on webcam meetings. The next week, I'm hoping next week, will be a video talking about the different softwares for webcam meetings and online meetings, and hopefully show you some settings on each of them that I've set personally that can help kind of tweak and improve the meeting quality. So getting into today's video, the first kind of tip, if you will, more like a rule, is the same as the first tip on a couple videos ago, and that is wear pants. I'm wearing my pants now. You can barely see them because it's dark in here. And we'll talk about lighting in a little bit, but yeah, wear pants. Previously I said to wear pants because like part of working is being in a work mindset, and it's hard to do that while in sweatpants or your boxers or whatever else you got. This has a more or maybe a less nuanced reason, and that is no one wants to see you in your underwear, so wear pants. It's all just, when the pandemic first hit, we saw way too many videos get posted of people like showing up to meetings and not realizing their coworkers can see them in their boxer briefs. So yeah, wear pants. Every meeting, every day at work. Stop going to meetings pantsless, people. Gosh. And then next, I want to talk about when you're in a meeting, being courteous to those else in your meeting with you. And the first one to that is wearing headphones. These are the ones I use. I think I talked to you about them a little bit in a previous video. They're big and chunky and overkill. But the important thing is that the sound from the meeting is not coming out of my speakers. It's coming through there, and so my mic has no chance of picking it up. There won't be any echo. It's always the worst when there's an echo in a meeting. Makes it so you can't hardly speak. If you're like hearing yourself a second later, you kind of like mumble up your words. There's actually like apps you can buy to do that on purpose. But yeah, if you hear yourself delayed, you start to skip, you start to mumble, and it's like impossible to speak. So just to be courteous to everyone with you, even if you think your setup's perfect and it can't echo, it probably will eventually, because all technology kind of sucks at some point. Please wear headphones if you're in a meeting. And then kind of to pair with that is, if you're able to, you should use a mic other than the one that came with your laptop from work. Right now I have, it's like a MXL 770, I think. This is way overkill. I have this because I'm a bit of a nerd, and I was kind of hoping to be an aspiring YouTuber someday when I bought it. But for meetings, a simple USB mic will still do 10 times better than what you have built into your laptop. The big things of getting your own mic that help is, one, if it has one that's a cardioid pattern. It's a fancy term for basically it just doesn't hear anything behind it. But if it has a cardioid pattern, it'll kind of like block off sounds that are happening behind you, including like key clicks and stuff like that. And then also, people who talk in meetings through their webcam or through their mic on their laptop have a tendency to somehow magically touch the mic while they're talking. It's happened, I don't know, hundreds of times to me in meetings where as I'm listening to someone, I can't hear what they're saying because they're either like tapping on their keyboard that's also connected to the laptop, or they're literally like just rubbing the mic with their finger, unknowing that like that part of the speaker grill happens to be the mic. I don't even know where the mic actually is on my MacBook Pro here, but I never use it because you should use a standalone mic if you can. I'm not going to include any links to it. If you're watching this, I'd assume you know how to somewhat research. I don't have like affiliate links or anything set up or anything like that. And at the time of recording this, there's still like a ton of mics that I think would be good that are getting price gouged really badly right now because everyone is trying to set it up. But try and spend, I'd say, like less than $50. You can probably find a decent USB mic in that $25 range and way improve your ability to communicate in meetings. It's going to do it a lot better than what's built into your laptop. You'll sound better, you'll sound crispier, and people will understand you, unless you mumble like I do. So yeah, get a mic. It really helps out quite a bit. And then once you have the mic, I think the headphones and mic are the two first steps towards improving meetings. The next one is a webcam. Okay, so right now I'm talking to you through a webcam that is the Logitech C920. Came out in like 2012, so it's not, you know, as top notch as it could be. When I bought it, it was like $35, and you could pretty much find it anywhere for $35, and it was kind of like the default webcam that most like streamers used, and great for meetings, obviously. Well, now because of the pandemic, it's been like price gouged. For a while it was like $300. I think now it's still like the 90s. I wouldn't buy a C920, at least not for more than 40 bucks. I think $35 is about what it's worth at this point. But there are some great Logitech webcams. If you can find one available and not being price gouged, highly recommend getting a separate webcam for all the same reasons that you'd grab a separate mic. It's just going to look better, work better. The people who made it didn't have the same like size restrictions that trying to fit it into your laptop screen had. And it's going to always look better no matter what, even if they're both rated for the same like 1080p 30 frames per second stuff. As far as once you have your webcam, whether it's in your Mac or in your laptop, or if it's a separate one, I do recommend for meetings that you try and put it like just above eye level. That's so that when you're in a meeting and you're talking to people, like normally I'd be looking at the screen right here, it's actually at eye level and people are actually looking at you. See too often where it's either too high up and you're like talking to people and they're like right here in the webcam and they got all this stuff behind them and whatever, or I see people where it's way above them and you're just like looking up their nose. And I'm sorry for everyone who just looked at my nose. It's a big nose and you just got lost probably. Try and put it just above eye level, kind of center it so that when you are talking and when you're on the webcam, you're kind of in the top third and centered. And that's how, like, no matter how it gets cropped, no matter what, you'll be in the frame and people will know that you're the subject of the video, not like whatever your background is or your dog on the couch, which mine's not today, or anything like that. Okay, once you've got kind of your webcam either through your laptop but just propped up somewhere so it's just above eye level, or you have a dedicated one that you have mounted either on top of your monitor. I have it on like a stick that's kind of like barely mounted to my desk, which is why it wobbles right now whenever I shake. I'm trying to get it replaced. I just haven't gotten around to buying a dedicated stand. All that to say, once you have a webcam set up, it's just above eye level, you like where it's framed and everything, you got a dedicated mic. Whenever you're in meetings, you use headphones. I think the next hardware related thing to kind of improve your meeting quality is lighting. I think getting decent lighting will way outweigh like any money you spend on a decent webcam. You can make a laptop webcam look way better than like a $250 webcam just by fixing your lighting situation. So I don't know if I'll have a diagram. I'll try and post a diagram from the article I wrote on this. I don't know, like right here, as I step behind it. But basically you should think of it as your webcam, you, and then 3 lights. Those 3 lights are your background light that kind of lights behind you to you, which is, I use that purple one, and then normally I have some lights over here that just burnt out this week. Like I went to turn them on before the video and I don't have RGB over here anymore. I'm kind of bummed, so I'm using the one way back there instead. And then I have a key light, which is this really bright one. I can kind of show you if I put my hand like this. It's like washed out. I have a ring light over here that's a key light, and then I have a light behind my, like a lamp basically, behind my laptop that hits the wall and just bounces everywhere. And that is my lighting setup, is those 3 lights, me, and a webcam. And that's pretty easy to do. You don't need like any fancy lights. Like, I just have a random light behind me that's dimmed out or blocked out a little bit. This is a normal lamp in front of me, and then this key light over here is like a ring light that was like $5 or $8, and I think they're still like that. Just search ring light and grab the cheapest one you can off of Amazon. But the idea is that what each job, I guess, is the key light lights you, the subject of it, and it's kind of like the most important-ish of the lights, and you want this one to be facing you and just off of like an angle from where your webcam is. So if I'm standing like this, the webcam is right here, and then the key light is right here. This is like when I'm gaming and streaming and stuff, this is where it's at. Or if I'm in a meeting, this is kind of like my normal angle I look at. And the idea of having them separate is by having them slightly off of each other, you kind of get more shadows in my face. I'm not completely washed out. You can kind of see like more of my edges and stuff. And that helps you just kind of create, I think it's called contour, but create depth in your video, and people can more pull you out of the video. Now to the fill light. The fill light is the one I have behind my laptop, and it's just a normal lamp. There's nothing special about it. If you have like a production going on, you probably have big lights that kind of fill up everything. But this job is basically, if I didn't have it on, and I can actually show you, one second. So this is without the fill light. You can see I still have like a lot of shadow and everything. You can still see me. You can't really see much of anything else, so I'm just like this floating bob, and even then like a lot of me is pretty dark too. So that's everything being lit by my fill light. Now that I have it back on again, so you can kind of see its job. It's generally just to kind of fill in any gaps in your lighting, anywhere where you can't see. It's not the subject necessarily. Some of it is hitting me, obviously, but a lot of it's also hitting like this wall right here, or hitting like a lot of the background and stuff like that. It's to fill in all the gaps and make it so you don't look like you're in a really dark room, which is where I was just a little bit ago. And I think that the main thing that people mess up with a fill light is that I have like a light right here, and if your fill light is in between you and the webcam, it'll kind of do the same thing as what I was talking about putting the light in between you and the webcam, where it just kind of washes you out. Or worse yet, if it's behind you, like if I had it brighter, right there, if I had this light brighter and had that as my fill light, I would end up kind of looking like I was like in a witness protection program or something, where I am a complete shadow silhouette and you can't see me at all. So it's best to have your fill light try and be as soft and as like, bouncing off of walls as you can, but have it behind your webcam and behind you, so that it just kind of fills up and people can kind of see your room and see you. And then the final lights are kind of like the least needed lights, which is why like I have one burnt down. I'm not too worried about it. And that is just like the background light. Its main purpose is to kind of like light from behind you and kind of edge light your sides, and that way it kind of separates you from your background. Basically, for a background light, you just want it to help separate you from the background. So especially when I'm wearing a dark shirt, I want the background kind of lit up less brightly than me, but still lit up and still kind of shining towards me to separate me from the background. The hardest parts of this is if you overdo the light, it'll turn you into a silhouette. You really want to have it very minimal and just enough, usually colorful, to like separate you, the main character of your little story you're putting on your meeting, from your background. That's kind of all I had for kind of initial setups for your meeting. I hope that was helpful. Hope you had a good idea on how to set up kind of your lighting setup and where your webcam should be. If you have any more questions, feel free to tweet at me. I feel like I kind of rambled through that pretty fast. I do have an article that I'll have linked below that better explains this. And then I do stream on Twitch most weeknights, so feel free to drop in there if you have any more questions about how to set up my webcam setup, what I did. I have a pretty budgety rig, and I think that's perfect for meetings. Alright, and then lastly, this is a two-part video, so the next half I'll actually be going through specific programs that I often use when doing a video chat, and kind of some settings that I've tweaked to be able to make it a better experience. We'll talk about blurring backgrounds, about how many people you can see at once in your meeting, and fixing up audio and stuff like that. So that's all I have for tonight. Hope you had a good work day. It's today Tuesday? Yeah, today's Tuesday. So hope the beginning of your week went pretty well, and I'll see you next week. All right, bye.